Hey everyone, it's Lizzie. I'm back with another kind of talking to camera video. This one is going to be about the things I love most about being able to walk. You might be thinking, but she can't walk. And you're right, I can't walk. But I have been able to walk in the past. I wasn't paralysed, I didn't have a back injury or a neck injury where I lost the ability to walk instantly or, in a very short amount of time. I was able to walk in my childhood up until I was about 17, and then it just became too difficult. I was falling too much. Any slight hill, downhill was just, steps I couldn't do. So I've experienced walking and now not walking, but even when I could walk, it wasn't the kind of walking that you might appreciate being able to do yourself. So I thought I would give a breakdown of the things that, if I could walk, or things that I admire about other people who can walk. And this isn't like a dig at able-bodied people, me saying like, oh, you shouldn't moan, like you can walk, I can't. But it's just some things about other people's abilities just amaze me, and it's nothing spectacular, it's just normal human skills, which I know not everyone has. There are hundreds, millions of other people that can't walk just like me, or they might be able to walk but not very far or very, very easily. But yeah, I thought I'd just do a quick video just about the things that amaze me about walking, because it just looks amazing. So my first advantage to walking is just that you can walk. The fact that you can get up from a chair or wherever and just walk. You can just walk wherever you want to, with shoes on, with socks on, with nothing on. You can just get up and walk. You can, I don't know, it just seems so satisfying to watch, which is a bit weird, isn't it? And with being able to just get up and walk, for most people, I presume you can just get up and go to the toilet whenever you want to. Being in a wheelchair, literally all day, or apart from when I'm on the sofa or in bed or in the car, the fact that you can just get up and go for a wee whenever you want to, it just seems so handy to me. Even when I could walk, it was still quite daunting to go to the toilet on my own or with somebody to help me, because I can't use my hands very well because they're like this. So I had to wear trousers that were like stretchy or loose so I could pull them up easily, and then over the years it just became more difficult anyway. So yeah, it wasn't even very easy, even when I could walk, to go and just get up and go to the loo. You could drink as much as you want and be like, I need another wee, off I go. I purposely don't drink very much, and it's not good for me. I'm always dehydrated, probably, like always in a mild state of dehydration. I don't drink enough because having to go to the toilet that many times a day is just inconvenient and difficult and time consuming, and it gets in the way of what I'm doing because it takes so long and I have to have somebody to come with me. I can't just do it on my own. The next thing I love about being able to walk or stand up is wearing whatever shoes you want to wear. I'm so restricted in the shoes I can wear, although not as restricted as I used to be, because when I could walk I had to wear splints. So like, I think in America they call them leg braces, or AFOs in this country. I used to hate them being called AFOs. I don't know why, I think it's because my physio in primary school called them that and I didn't like her, so didn't like the word AFO. So yeah, I just called them splints. They went down the back of my calf, from like under my knee, down under my heel and under my foot, and then strapped across my ankle and under my knee and sometimes my toes as well, with Velcro, just to kind of hold my foot in a right angle, because I didn't have any strength in my ankles and calves. So what was I talking about? Shoes. So yeah, wearing shoes was really awkward. I had to have shoes that were like 2 or 3 sizes too big, because my splints had to go in them as well, and like because they were rigid and hard, I couldn't just fit my feet into like nice little pretty shoes. So I had like boys' school shoes. I don't mean like nice trendy boys' shoes, they were like clumpy, like businessman shoes, and they had to be really flat. If they had even a tiny bit of heel on them, I couldn't stabilise myself because my ankle was obviously fixed in a 90-degree angle with the splints. If the shoe was at all like heeled, I would just sort of fall like forward. Like for my 16th birthday, I had a pair of Skechers, like the first like Skechers that came out. They had quite a kind of chunky, bumpy sole, and I thought, oh, they'll probably be okay. So, and I could hardly walk in them, and I made myself wear them just because I wanted to wear them, and the amount of times I fell in them was just ridiculous, and I ended up giving them, hardly worn, to a friend of my mum's. Gutting, because I really loved those shoes. And I mean, things like Converse and that are in fashion now. They weren't really around, I mean obviously they were because they're decades old, but they weren't really like around and fashionable for kids like when I was growing up. So they would have been handy because they're really flat, but I never really kind of came across them. I would love to wear flip-flops. I think people wearing flip-flops just look so comfy and so light and airy in the summer, and you can just slip them on and off you trot. So yeah, just being able to wear whatever shoes you want, whenever you want, heel shoes, backless shoes, just sounds amazing. The next thing that I find great about being able to stand up is not having to wear trousers that are like 2 sizes too big. I'm about a size 12 to 14 in the UK. I think that's like an 8 to 10 in the US, I'm not sure. But I buy trousers that are like 14 or 16, depending on what sort of trousers they are. I never buy trousers in a size 12, even though if I was stood up, they would fit fine. Because I'm sat down all day, obviously when you're sat down, your belly hangs over. And I've had 3 kids, so my belly is not like flat at all. So I have to have trousers that are kind of looser, so that when I'm sat down all day, they don't start like cutting in and being really uncomfortable. Because if the trousers you wear, if they're like skinny jeans or just fitted snug trousers, if you were sat down all day, they would really get uncomfortable. You're probably thinking, why don't you wear leggings? I do wear leggings. I've got like 1 or 2 pairs, but I don't find them. They are comfy, but I'm very much more a jeans person. I do wear leggings sometimes, like if I'm wearing like a short dress or something, I wear leggings underneath because I don't like showing off my legs much. It's weird wearing leggings. I don't feel kind of as secure in my chair. I think because they're smooth, I feel like I'm going to slip out of my chair, like if I'm like being pushed down a ramp. I feel like I'm going to like slide out of my chair and land on my bum. So I prefer jeans because they give me more grip. And also, being in a wheelchair, obviously I have to have help going to the toilet, and if I had really fitted, tighter jeans, for somebody else to pull my trousers up for me when I'm like lifting myself up on the toilet, it would be so difficult. So I would love to be able to pick any sport and try it and just go and have a go, but there's nothing around for wheelchair users. If you lived in London or the Midlands or somewhere with big cities, even like Exeter, which is the nearest sort of big city to me, there's probably more opportunities there, but I'm in a little seaside town in South Devon and there's nothing around. Even if there is, it's like once a month or something, and it's like, well, if I really wanted to get into a sport, what good is once a month? It's not good enough. So being able to just pick a sport like tennis or track racing or cycling, netball, rounders, anything really. Even for a lot of sports, there's not much on offer down here, but there's a lot more if you are able-bodied. And there's tennis courts around everywhere. There's like, I can think of like 3 tennis courts in my like 1 mile vicinity. And I know there's wheelchair tennis, and I could, if I was a standard wheelchair user, as in what people might expect from a wheelchair user, I could try wheelchair tennis, but I can't use my hands. I can't hold a bat. I can't it's just not going to work. The next thing that amazes me about being able to walk and stand up is just that at any moment during your walking moment, you could just start running. You could run, you could hop, you could skip, you could jump, you could moonwalk, you could do anything you want to. You can run like Phoebe from Friends, you break into a big sprint, and that to me just seems like ultimate freedom, and it just looks so fun. I presume, which I shouldn't presume, but I presume if you're able to walk and stand up in an able-bodied way, you are probably able to drive any car that you want to, providing you haven't got any other impairments. And that also amazes me. I can drive. I passed my test 23, I think I was. I had to learn to drive in a Chrysler Grand Voyager. It's big. It's quite a popular car in America as far as I know. It's a big, long car. I think normally it would have 8 seats, I think. But mine was like modified, so it had a big gap in the middle and then 3 seats in the back and then 2 in the front. And it was a huge car, it was massive, and that's what I learned to drive in. And everyone used to think, God, how can you drive that as your first car? Because most people's first car is like a Nissan Micra or a Corsa. And yeah, my first car was like 4 times the size of that. I don't like driving. I passed my test first time, but I hardly ever drive, which makes me feel awful because I just don't like driving. I find it really scary, and the fact that I'm in a massive car and that gives you a lot of power and I don't trust other people on the road. There's a lot of stupid, knobbish drivers out there. I can't trust what they're going to do, and although my car was adapted for me to drive independently, I still feel like I need somebody sat there. So I've never kind of got to the stage where I'm confident just to go out and drive on my own. So yeah, just to be able to get in a car and drive would be nice. So if that's you, you're very lucky. And the last 2 things are, again, just other things that a lot of people might not do very often, but like cycling. I loved riding my bike. It was like, I just loved it. I used to be out for hours on my own or with my friends just riding. I once rode my brother's bike, which was a really stupid thing to do because I couldn't use the brake because I can't use my fingers. So I couldn't stop, but I thought, I'll just ride it anyway. And I also at the time had my wrist in a cast because I had broken my wrist. So I was riding my brother's massive mountain bike with no brakes, so because I couldn't use them, and already a broken wrist. I got to the end of my road that we lived on, and there's like a T-junction with a hill going down at the end, and I was riding with my friends, and we got to the end of the road, and I went to turn around to turn back, and my friend was there, so I couldn't turn around, so I kind of turned the other way and ended up going down the hill. And I hadn't ever been down that hill before. It was like in a housing area, but a big steep hill. And as I turned down it, I was like, oh no, this is where I die. And I was going down this hill really fast, gaining speed, couldn't stop myself. But in that moment I was like, I don't know what to do. I can't stop myself. I'm going to die. And I literally had to turn into a little car park, and there was a car coming out of the car park, and I managed to swerve that to avoid that, and went round that car, and then there was somebody's like steps in front of their house, and I purposely drove into the steps because I had to stop myself. I slumped over the handlebars and really bruised my hips. And then a few minutes later my mum came running down the hill in her bare feet because my friend had gone to tell her that I'd basically driven to my death. And so yeah, she came running down the road, and it was the scariest moment of my life, I think. But yeah, I was fine. Bit of a stupid thing to do, but I loved riding my bike, so it wasn't like I shouldn't have been doing it. It was just I just shouldn't have gone down the hill. I loved cycling, and I really wish I could do it again now. And by cycling I mean like proper 2-wheel cycling. It'd be nice to try kind of like a big trike or something, but nowadays my knees are just ruined. So if I go on like a exercise bike, or like one of those sort of recumbent bike things, after a few pedals my knees start clicking, and it's a horrible sensation, and it doesn't stop. If I can't push through it, it doesn't get better after a while. They'll carry on clicking and getting worse and worse, so I can't pedal anymore. So being able to just go out and do that would just be ace. And my final thing that I can think of for the moment, there's probably loads of things, but this is going to be a really long video, already at 20 minutes. I used to do gymnastics when I was younger. I started when I was 6 and I stopped when I was 12, and I stopped very suddenly. It was due to, I think my mum was picked me up to take me to gym, and I was 12 and I said, I don't want to do it anymore. I don't want to go in there. I want you to go in and tell them I don't want to do it. And mum was like, okay, it's a bit sudden. But I was adamant I didn't want to go in there and I didn't want to do it. I started when I was 6, so I'd been doing it for 6 years, and I literally hadn't progressed at all because of my disability. It was good for me to do because it kept me fit and it kept me supple and it kept me moving, but I knew I was never going to be able to do the things I wanted to do. I couldn't, you know, run and jump on a springboard and vault over a vault. I could literally run, kind of slightly jump a bit and then maybe squat onto the vault or something, but I couldn't really do much. I did like beam, but again I couldn't do much of that. It was mainly just kind of walking and then doing dips. Trampoline I loved, but again, you know, if I'd carried on I could have maybe taken trampolining a bit further into like maybe disability sport trampolining. But again, being in the southwest of England, there's not many opportunities for that anyway. I wish I hadn't quit as suddenly as I did. I wish I'd carried on just to keep myself fit. And I love gymnastics, I love watching it. It's such a brilliant sport to get into. It targets your whole body. It's cardio, it's resistance, it's everything. It's, you know, it's a team sport, it's an individual sport, it's everything all packed into one thing. And I love it so much that I've kind of got both my girls into it. I hope they carry on. I hope they're really good anyway, but I hope they kind of keep the passion that they've got for it, and I hope they kind of sustain it well into, you know, teenage years, even if it's just for keeping fit and just being part of a team or a group or a sport. It's not the only sport I want them to do. Tom and I are quite keen for them to try other things, and we'd like to get them into like tennis, but I just want them to try lots of sports. But yeah, gymnastics is one thing that I love and I'm really passionate about. I'd love for Rafe to get into it as well. If they don't, they don't, but you know, I just love gymnastics. So I think that's all for now. I think I'll leave it at that. Otherwise it's going to be a very long video and you'll be thinking, when is she going to shut up and stop moaning about what she's not able to do? This video was kind of intended to be my appreciation of what people can do when they're able-bodied and when they can just get up and walk. And I hope it came across that way. I hope it didn't come across as me just kind of moaning, you know, about what I can't do. But I don't know, I'm allowed to moan. Appreciate what you've got, appreciate what you can do. And if you can't do something, like I can't, maybe find something else that you can do, that you can hopefully get stuck into and really find some passion in something else. And I'll stop rambling on now and I will say goodbye, and please give this video a thumbs up. My voice is really dry now and I'm getting sick of talking, so you're probably sick of hearing me. Don't forget to subscribe, I would really appreciate it. And yeah, give me some comments down below. What else should I be appreciating about people who are able-bodied and who can walk? So I'll see you in the next one. Bye everyone.